Hey there everybody, Mazarok here, and today I want to have a little bit more of a different discussion. Over the past couple of weeks, my confidence as a tank has been shaken and kind of brought down a little bit more and a little bit harder than it used to, kind of all coming into a culmination of really downtroddenness last night. So I want to address that, and I want to talk about what it takes from someone to overcome it. I had made a video in the past of overcoming tank anxiety for new tanks, going into those first bigger dungeons that you've never done. Maybe, you've only ever tanked 10s and you're in your first 15, whatever it has you not. And I still really like that video, but this is a little bit different. I thought about remaking it for something like this, but this is its own beast. So I do want to cover that, and I want to talk about this and what can happen, right? Because you only ever see, most of the times a person only ever sees the most confident version of one another, especially in these YouTube videos and things like that, where nobody's putting out videos of, man, I totally busted my 23, you know what I mean? That's not tends to not be how it works. So this is going to be a little bit more talkative and things like that, but I think it needs to be put out there. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. The amount of subs you guys have been giving me is just astronomical and so kind. I'm flabbergasted by all the support. If you want to continue this discussion in Discord, or maybe you just want to see pictures of sexy buttered Pop-Tarts, you can check that out in the Discord link down below, as well as I have a Twitch link that you can watch me stream, and a Patreon link if you wish to support me directly. So let's get into Season 4, what's been happening, what has led to this, and what I'm doing about it. So with Season 4, we've had these old dungeons coming back. They were designed in a different era. Some of them at the beginning of Mythic Plus. BFA ones were designed more for Mythic Plus because they already had an entire expansion of it. And of course, Warlords, not designed for Mythic Plus at all, but brought up to Mythic Plus levels. And with that has shifted the meta of what has to happen. So for me, tanking Mythic Plus, if you know anything, it's really been Season 1 of Shadowlands. It was the first time I ever got KSM as a tank. And whenever a run failed, I have the mentality of, what could I have done better? What did I screw up? What did I do wrong? What can I do better? And this has served me as a double-edged sword. Sometimes that mentality shakes my confidence down, but it also drives me to do better, perform better, and play better. And in Shadowlands, in Season 1, 2, and 3 especially, the tank could just do more, right? Could time his kicks better, could time his CCs better, could just tank things better and make the run and push the run to completion, whether it was a bad group or not. The tank could do that, right? In almost any dungeon. And whenever the DPS and healers used their utility enough to help, it went just that much smoother and that much better, because that's the way it was intended. But for groups that were, nobody was kicking, nobody was using stuns, and nobody was using anything or positioning themselves properly, the tank could always tank it better, CC it better, kick it better. And for me, that was a driving force to get better. The problem is, in Season 4, that's just not possible. Aside from a paladin, you just don't have enough kicks, right? You don't have enough CC, you don't have enough better positioning because of some of the weird boss mechanics that kind of work, right? There's no boss positioning against Tony and the West Side Story one or whatever, because the waves you're constantly having to move, there's fire rings, you're all over the place, where you can't just be like, tank it here and in this spot here and stay there and it'll go smooth, because that's not how it works anymore, right? Medivh, you cannot get through that fight with only one person kicking ever. Even a prop paladin will eventually run out of kicks and something will get through. You need to rotate that, right? And tanks are a lot more reliant on DPS and healers using their utility and doing their job, and not just, performing on the overalls to succeed. And this is why dungeons like Lower Kara, Upper Kara have been so much more difficult, as well as things like higher level Iron Docks, right? Especially Fortified. You need people kicking, stunning, and especially stunning a lot of those things to be able to succeed at a higher level, and sometimes that just doesn't occur, and especially in pug groups where sometimes it does occur. You've got a good group and everybody's using their CC and everybody's using their stuns, but the problem is they're all using it at the exact same time, which doesn't help, right? Because yeah, sure, the first wave of things that need to be CC are all CC'd to death. The next time that comes up in the spell queue, nobody's got anything. And that's just bad luck. That's just kind of how it works sometimes, right? It's literally you have a group that all uses their CC, but it just... I don't know how many times I've seen a dungeon run where something needs to get kicked, and all of a sudden my interrupt tracker just is all going off. Everyone kicked simultaneously at the exact same time. That's it, and that's a good problem to have, because then you can just be like, okay, let's rotate it. I'll take first, you take second, you take third, you take fourth, and you rotate it through that way. And I'd rather be in a dungeon where everybody kicks than nobody kicks, right? And it's taken me a mentality shift of, okay, it's not just me, and the tank can't do more this season. The tank can't just be better. The tank can't manage enough CCs, can't manage enough personal kicks to be able to do it. And it's really, this season is truly, for success, is reliant on a group effort. Now, does that mean that I can't play better or can't do better? Absolutely not, right? I still, download my streams from the night before, and on runs that didn't go well, okay, what can I do better here? What can I do better on this run? What can I do better for positioning? Should I hold some CCs for certain things? Should I hold my kicks for certain for certain abilities? What can I do to try and min-max myself where I notice there's problems, that things are getting missed, right? Maybe as a tank, I notice that the trend is everyone's kicking the first frostbite off Medivh, so I'm just going to get in the habit of never kicking the first frostbite on Medivh unless it's in the split last second, and just try to always get the second. And if I notice the second one's getting kicked, maybe get the third, and see how that rotation works out instead of just being the tank and getting the first. Maybe, see what the trend is among pugs, and work myself that way. Now, last night I was really shaken down. Like, I had gone down. We went over the logs, a buddy of mine and myself. We went over the logs and we found out what I can do better, and there are some things to improve on, because I am not the world's best tank. I'm not. I would love to be one of the top tanks in the world at some point, sure. But right now, I'm just focused on myself and getting better with every keystone that I play, and that's what you have to do. But the point of this is, it doesn't matter who you are, right? Even the ones at the highest level fail keys sometimes. It's gonna happen. A famous quote, well, not famous, but a quote from my buddy Valen, you gotta break some keys to make an omelet, right? And that's gonna happen. You're gonna break keys on your success, on your journey to getting better. You're not going to time every key along the way. And what is difficult for you might be easy for someone else, right? For me, going into a 20 on any level, I have found, whether it's Karazhan, Upper, or anything like that, while I do have some work to do to be better on it, I am very confident in myself that I have the ability to tank this, to time it. And looking at my logs from last night, I'm literally negating, absorbing, or mitigating 96% of the damage coming into these runs. That is an astronomically high number of damage to be mitigating, because if you look at the math, some of the runs, without that mitigation, I would be taking 30,000 damage a second on average in some of these runs. That is incredibly high. So to be able to mitigate that much damage as a tank is really, really good, and that makes me feel happy. But at the same time, it's only 96%. I can get to 97. I can get to 98. I can do better. You can't negate 100% of the damage, because that's not how it works. If you are, you don't have threat on anything, and they're killing your DPS, so you take no damage. But anyone can get there, right? The people that run the highest keys also fail at keys. So that means people like you and I are going to fail keys too. And that's going to happen. But the mentality of you can do better has to be in your presence without just, bringing down your confidence. But that, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it can absolutely do that, right? That mentality of I can do better can shift into I'm bad. And sometimes you need friends to pick you up. Man, there's a lot of BattleNet friends out there that I've made along the way. You know, right? Jevin, Velen, Shaw. Last night I reached out to you three, and you three really kind of helped get me out of that little shakedown. But with that, I took that failure in mind, and I put it into a drive of perseverance of I'm going to do better. I know I'm going to look at some VODs, find out what I did wrong. Perfect. And the next time that I tank it, I'm going to be 10 times better at it. And if you take that failure and you put it into a drive of perseverance of I'm not going to let that happen again, you will become a better tank. You're going to get better, and you are going to notice how much better you're getting quickly. One of the things that I do, especially if you watch any of my streams, if I screw up, I own it. That's on me. I stood in bad. I stood in stupid. I didn't use a defensive. I didn't taunt off at the right time, whatever it is. If I did it, I am quick to notice it, I own it, and I fix it. And when you have that sort of mentality, the I'm bad starts fixing to I'm getting better. That mentality shifts to I'm getting better. And if you're always in a mentality shift of I'm getting better and I want to get better, no matter how good you are going to notice that your skills as a tank are going to improve big time. This is also using every resource that you have at hand. You know, guides on this channel, guides on other channels, Discord guides from any of the class servers that you play. And this isn't necessarily just for tanking, right? But this is the mentality that I have. I tank. This is how I got to do things, right? And kind of work things better. But you can do that too. And don't feel bad just for busting a key. Don't think you're bad because a key gets busted, right? If it's on you, own it. Yeah, I screwed up. The key didn't get timed. Guess what? Keys don't get timed all of the time. Keys don't get completed all of the time. Daily basis guaranteed. I think since Mystic Plus has started, I could pretty safely say there has never been a day throughout Mythic Plus's history where a key did not get completed. It was put in the keystone, they tried, they had to hearth out and leave because things just weren't going well. I don't think that the day where that hasn't happened has ever occurred. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that because the key to success is failing and learning from it and persevering through it. And use the resources, like I said, like you have at hand, right? Your friends, talk to them, go through logs, record your gameplay, and look to see what you could have done better. Do you have any idea how many times I look at my own gameplay and be like, oh, I hate what I did there. Okay, next time I'm going to do this. Next time I'm going to do this. Right? And it's free to do that. Download game recording software and just record yourself and watch it the next day while you're having a morning coffee or whatever have you not with a clear head. You're going to notice the things that you don't notice when it's live. But the more that you do this, the more that you're going to notice it when it's live because you've already seen yourself in the third person or at a different time watching this happen. And you're like, oh, no, I see what's going on here. I'm not letting that happen again. But that all is on the ladder to making you better. I have the goal of I want to time 25s in all dungeons this season. I know I have the skill and the capabilities. I have the drive, the motivation, but it also requires the perseverance. Because to get there, there's going to be some busted keys along the way. It's gonna happen. Right? You gotta bust some keys. You gotta break some keys to make an omelet. But I just want to let you know, it's okay. Things are gonna happen. Persevere through it. You have the ability. You have the resources. You're watching this video. There's a Discord link. You have so many people out there that are willing to help you and listen and maybe give advice or whatever have you not. There's so much out there. Persevere. Get better. And have fun.